This is my BMW 330e. This is my baby due on February the 17th. And this is me trying to get my pram in the back of my 330e. So I'm not sure about you guys, but to me that sounds like a damn good excuse to buy another car. But I'm not just going to buy any family car. I want to buy the most impractical family car, the Audi RS6. But until this YouTube channel starts making me money, I don't actually have the funds to buy one. So I'm going to attempt to flip car by car to an Audi RS6. So I'm in the truck, I'm off to pick up flip number 1 from a chap called Jack, who runs First Car Sales. This one's come in as a part exchange, and like as the name suggests, he only deals in first time driver cars. Isn't suitable for his forecourt, so let's go have a look at it and see if it's going to be a suitable first flip for myself. So I've just arrived at First Car Sales, or First Wheels I think they might be called. Let's have a look at the car. It's hella windy today, I'm absolutely frozen. So the first car of the series is going to be Audi A4. That's the Audi A4 loaded on the truck, collected from Jack at First Wheels Car Sales. They're up in Hull, fantastic service, really nice bloke. If you're looking for a first time car in that kind of area, I would urge that you check them out. Let's get this beast home. So we're back at the yard with my Audi A4, let's have a quick look around it. So alloys are hammered, so I think I'm going to refurb those. This is actually a Cat M, and I'm guessing it's had a front end slam, so if you look at these headlights, there's a bit of movement. That one's worse. And if you look at the panel gap on this front bumper, it isn't the best. Other than that, the bodywork for an 07 plate car is unbelievable. There is on this rear valance type of thing a big bump in there. I'm hoping with a bit of heat and a bit of encouragement from behind that might pop out, and then if it pops out there it should clip back in up here, so we'll give that a go. Now the other downside to this car, when I bought it, the engine management light is on. I did know about this, Jack made me aware of this. He even scanned the car for me and it came up with a MAF sensor fault. Now I've just shown one of my mechanics underneath the engine, and here's what I found. This here was all trapped down the side of there. I've just plugged that back in again now. With a bit of luck, that could be why the engine light was on. It could just have been unplugged. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to plug this in, give it a scan and see if that gets rid of the light. If it does, we could be onto a real winner here. So that's the car scanned. You'll see a multitude of faults. I'm not too worried about that. That's quite common. If a car's not been scanned and cleared out fault codes for a while, you'll often see loads of fault codes. Once they're cleared, you might take it to the drive and see which ones come back, and those are the ones you'd be bothered about. But over a period of time, the car will fault in different ways, and this will just store it. The one I'm concerned about is this engine one. So let's have a quick look at that one. Now the gent that bought this off said it was a mass airflow sensor fault. So let's see if my scanner says the same. So mass or volume airflow sensor A, circuit low. Now I wish I got it on camera, but I didn't. The mechanic I worked with spotted that this was unplugged. We've just plugged it back in again. Let's clear this all out, and then what we'll do is we'll take this for a good old drive and see if fixing this engine management light was really that easy. So that's the fault codes cleared. Let's start this up and see if anything comes back on, but it's looking promising. Surely not. Passenger airbag on. Yeah, that's fine. No way. Please, if it's literally as easy as plugging a sensor back in, and that's my engine light dealt with, we are on to a winner. Let's take this for a quick drive and we'll see if the light stays off. It's looking good so far. Something isn't right, so that's my foot flat on the floor. I'm almost like spinning out. an hour. But yeah, after a while it seems to just come back. Is this a gearbox fault, or is this something to do with why that sensor was unplugged? I'm really not sure. I think the next course of action is to re-unplug that sensor and go back out for a drive and see what's going on. So that isn't quite the good news I was expecting, to be honest. I mean, to be honest, I was a bit apprehensive to believe someone had just miraculously forgotten to plug this sensor in and no one had thought to try that. So we're going to try and re-unplug this sensor on here and just see if it now performs better. I'm going to tuck that down there so it's not going to get hot on the engine, and we'll go for another drive. So the car hasn't realised I've unplugged that sensor again yet, but it drives like a different car, literally a different car. So we're back onto a slope we were on before. So that's weird. Maybe it is just a faulty MAF sensor that's on the car. Maybe it just needs a new one. Or maybe it's something a little bit more suspicious, I really don't know. So, have a look to the engine management light. As it stands at the minute, it's not on. Now, we do know there's a problem still, and I am going to be addressing that. However, the first thing I need to do with this is get it MOT'd. So, Lee had a look at this last night. He said the bumper fitment, whilst it isn't great, is probably as good as you're going to get it. However, he was able to re-secure these headlights. If you look now, they're nice and secure. So whilst the engine management light isn't on the dash, because that is an MOT failure, I'm going to take this for an MOT and we'll see what else we're going to have to deal with before we look further into this MAF sensor issue. So I'm back from MOT with the Audi A4 and the verdict is in. We've got a pass, baby. What a result that is. We've got two advisories. We've got headlamp lens slightly defective, which obviously I'll polish it up before we sell it, so that's fine. And there's a small chip in the windscreen, so I will most likely get that filled depending on whether it's already been filled. So the next thing we've got to address with this Audi is the MAF sensor fault. Now I spoke with a mechanic and they basically said, have you scanned it with the MAF sensor plugged in? Now that's a good point, because obviously when I scanned it before, the MAF sensor was unplugged, so it was always going to say that there was a MAF sensor fault. Now what I've done is I've road tested the car with the MAF sensor connected. I'm going to rescan the vehicle now and see what faults we've got. If it comes back with the MAF sensor fault again, it's almost certain that the MAF sensor is at fault, but let's see what it says. So it's finished scanning now. We've got three lots of faults. We've got some aircon faults, which I'm not worried about. Brakes faults, I'm not going to address that just yet. I'm not sure why it's coming up, but the brakes feel fine. And here is the engine fault, so let's take a look to see what's going on. Intake flap motor faulty. Okay, well there's probably our issue. So with the new fault code we've now got, which is intake motor flap faulty, that isn't anything to do with the MAF sensor, as we now know. So we had a quick look at it and it looks like it's the throttle body that isn't working correctly. So I've been to the scrapyard and picked a second-hand one up, because a new one's about 200 quid, so if I can get away with a second-hand part, we're laughing. In this series of cars I want to start getting a bit more hands-on with the mechanical stuff, but I'm absolutely flat out today, so I'm not going to have a chance. I'm going to get Adam to fit this for me and we'll see if that resolves the issue.
Oh, sorry dude, I just reached your nose. Chinese crap.
Looks not far off brand new, that, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's the problem though, isn't it? It's Chinese.
Don't fit shit Chinese parts.
Right,
in the bin.
I need that.
Not in the bin.
Just need this bit and then we're fine. Yeah.
So let's have a look, which bit?
It's brand.
Let's have a look. In the bin!
Eager to do it though.
In the bin!
So, and the seal as well, look. See? Yeah, we do need some silicone, dude. That'd be nice if you could.
In the bin! We're back in the driver's seat. We're going to go for a spin and see if this is driving as it should do. My fingers are crossed. We are looking good so far. I just want to take it out onto the bypass. Nah, that's fixed. That's definitely fixed. I could barely get up this same hill. I could barely get up this one with the other throttle on. Whereas now, open her up and she's off. Yeah, I'm happy, that's sorted. What a result.
A few moments later.
I spoke too soon. I thought it was fixed, but it's really not. It's just completely just down on power. Like this is, then it comes back. No, see there, look. I'm stuck at full foot to the floor. can't even get up to 40 miles an hour. The revs are sort of creeping up, but it's just not moving. Then it kicks in. There, you can hear it. It's off. What the hell could that be? And we're back with the Audi A4, guys. So Lee's had a look at this after we had the problems with the throttle body. He found an EGR blanking plate, which is a modification that can be done that can help with performance. But when you do this, it needs to be mapped out of the ECU. Now, he believes that the ECU hadn't been mapped for this EGR blank, so we've removed this blanking plate and given the EGR valve a good clean. This now drives absolutely mint, so that's a massive win. So far, it hasn't cost me a great deal of money. Now, you might have noticed it doesn't have any wheels on it. Reason for that is we're going to spend a bit of time cleaning these up, sanding back all the curbing and the nastiness. You'll see on here that they're quite badly curbed. And there as well, you've got some paint coming away as well. Now, I'm not going to go crazy with these because at the end of the day, it is an old car with relatively high miles, 90,000 miles, and the sale value of this car isn't going to be massively impacted by the condition of the wheels. But I am going to give them a quick sand back. I'm going to put a fresh lick of paint, fresh coat of lacquer on, just to give them a bit of a shine, make them pop on the car, and hopefully make it a slightly easier sale. So let's get to work. So after a sand, you can see that most of the curb rash is now gone. However, there are still some dents. I think the curb rash was a little bit worse than I thought it was. Now, I was taught a little trick. Now, this is by no means an alloy refurb class. This is a little trick to deal with some of the deeper sort of scuffing on the edges. You wouldn't use this as a proper way to repair an alloy, but if it is just sort of surface level scratching, you can usually get away with this. Now, I'm going to bang a little bit of super glue in the little bits that are too deep to sand out, and then we'll go back over it once it's dried, sand that back out again, and that should give us a near enough level surface to paint on. You rejoin me the following day after this glue is dried. Now, in an ideal world, I use a glue activator to make this happen a bit quicker. However, I'd run out, didn't realise we are where we are. So I actually had to put the wheels back on this to get it out of the unit so I could do some work today, and it's back on again now, which is a bit of a mess about. But next job now is to sand this glue down. Hopefully, they're not going to be perfect, but hopefully this glue will have filled the worst of these sort of scuffs on the edge of the wheels. Then we can get about priming the areas that we've sanded, getting a coat of paint on them and lacquering them up. I can literally already hear the haters in the comments, the professional body shop owners, and that telling me that this is a terrible idea to repair a car. My logic is that if you even graze a curb, it's going through the lacquer, it's going through the paint. So a bit of super glue to cover up the scuffs that are already there, to me is genius. There's nothing, it's no weaker than the paint that's going to go on top of it. So that's what I'm going to do anyway. Like I said, if this was a resale car on my forecourt, then I would do a proper repair. I'd use proper wheel filler, which we'll do again. We'll do in a video down the line. But for now, I just want to get this old 57 plate Audi looking as smart as it possibly can. So this is the worst of the wheels. As you can see, the curbing's pretty bad all the way around. Now, it probably, even after that sanding, probably doesn't look much different to you through the camera. And that's because obviously the super glue is clear. But if I run my finger around the edge, it's nowhere near perfect in any sort of deep dents or ones that have actually taken a bit of chunk out. Like, for example, there's a small dip there. I can't do anything about that with what I'm working with today, but you wait till I've got a coat of primer on this. Remember how this looks now. I will do some before and after photos, but remember how it looks now with a coat of primer on, which will obviously show you where the glue has sort of filled the scratches in the alloys. These will look like a totally different wheel. So the next step, once these are all sanded, is to go over them with a Scotch-Brite pad, just to take any shine. I mean, they're not very shiny anyway, they're pretty dull as it is, but we'll take any remaining shine off this with a Scotch-Brite pad and a bit of water. Once they're completely flat, we obviously can't mask tyres, and I don't feel like going to the effort of getting the tyres off. So what we're going to do is stick some cards, I'll show you in a minute, but all around the edge of the rim, so that sort of covers the tyre and protects it from getting any paint on it. And then we're going to put a bag over the actual car itself, because when you do wheels, there's a lot of lacquer in the air, so I don't want any of that getting on the paintwork. So here we have it. The wheels have now had any damage sanded out of them. Any deeper damage has been filled with super glue and sanded back again. We've then been over the whole wheel with a Scotch-Brite to flat it down to this nice flat finish. Next step is to get a bit of primer on the areas that we've attacked. But before that, we've got to mask the tyres. To do this, we're going to use these little spray out cards and stick them just between the edge of the rim and the tyre like that. Time lapse. We're going to quickly have a quick look whilst that paint's drying. If you remember, there's this dent here. I'm going to smash some heat on this from a heat gun and see if I can push this back through from behind. So let's get to it. So you'll notice the plastic is still slightly deformed, but I'm happy with that for a 10-second bit of heat and a good push from behind. Hey, let's get back to the wheels. I can't bother to turn the heater off again. The last step is get some lacquer on these bad boys, make them nice and shiny, and yeah, get them back on the car. Let's go! You join me the following morning. Guys, these look awesome. They're not perfect. There is still some slight scuffing on the edges, but where they've come from to where they are now, I think these are going to absolutely pop on the car. Let's get them back on again. The wheels are now on. They look great. I'm not going to show you just yet. This is the maiden voyage as a fully functional car. All that this needs is a good clean. There's all sorts of crap in here, including my lunch boxes. I'm going to take it home for the weekend. I'm not going to valet it myself. I want a break. I'm knackered, so I'm going to drop it at the valeters Saturday morning, and then we'll take it to get some photographs of the car and hopefully get it up for sale. So Saturday morning, we're on our way to the valeters. I'm just going to get all this crap out of the car, chuck it in the bin, just so I'm not leaving them with more work than they need. I've also found this. This looks like one of the front, it's the driver's side front fog light holder. Just found the passenger side as well. So if anyone needs one of these, I'm going to chuck it in my house. It's free to you, just pay postage, but I don't need that. Mine's not missing. I'm not sure why it's there. Let's get it emptied. That's the Audi A4 dropped off at the valeters. We're going to nip and grab a coffee.
Now 84% of you watching these videos are still not subscribed, so now's the perfect time to hit that subscribe button.
And she's pregnant and she's not the most reasonable right now, so it's in your best interest to do what she says. So that's it, the Audi A4 is ready for sale. Here are the photos I took of the car to list it with. I should have brought the drill brush home from work just to give the seats a once over, but I can do that on Monday when I'm back at work and rephoto the interior if need be. I also forgot to polish the headlights, but I think they look fine to be honest, and I just want to get this car sold now. So let's have a look at what this car has cost me. And for those of you that are interested, here's a little before and after of the alloys. As you can see, they're not perfect, but they're miles better than they were when the car rolled into me. So let's have a quick look at the numbers. I spent £700 on the car, I paid £35 for an MOT, £30 for a second-hand throttle body. I paid Lee 40 quid to resecure the headlights and clean the EGR valve, and I spent £23 on a valet, which means in total the car owes me 828 quid. In the next episode, I'll let you know how much I sold it for, and with a bit of luck, I'll have the next flip for this series. If you're enjoying what you're seeing, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.